Hey guys, welcome back to Barry's Corner. It's Emily here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys some underrated books that I think that you should read. Some of these books you have heard of before, but I don't think that you've bought them, or you've bought them and you've never read them, or they've had some hype, but it died down, and I think that you need to get to it ASAP. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below. All of my social links are down in the description box below, as well as my Amazon wishlist if you would like to gift me a book. Now let's get on into the video. Okay, we're gonna start off with a semi-popular one, Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. If you've heard of Sally Thorne before, you've heard of The Hating Game, and of course, that's a phenomenal book. It's one of top tier, it's amazing. But this book is amazing as well, and I feel like not a lot of people have read it. I feel like when it first came out, people were talking about it, but after that, nobody actually bought it and put it on their shelves and spoke about it on BookTube. So basically, this follows Ruthie, and she works for a retirement villa, and she's been working there for years. She doesn't really have to work there, but she loves it so much. She loves the people there. She loves just working there, and one day it gets a new owner, and they're trying to just bulldoze down the whole thing and kind of replace it with something else. And so the owner sends his son to kind of convince Ruthie to do what they want, but she is not having it. A romance forms, and you know the drill. I think this is an amazing adult romance. I don't think it fully compares to The Hating Game. I truly think it's hard to just go from that success and continue to make something just as amazing, but this book is very, very close to that. It is so pure. I truly think that if you are trying to get into adult romance, this is the book that you have to start with, because it's a little bit of spice. You still get the warm, fuzzy feelings and the cuteness of a romance, and you love them together, but you don't get all of the spice that you kind of want with other adult romances. And maybe that's why this isn't as hyped up as The Hating Game, because you get that spice. But I truly loved it. I love Ruthie as the main character. I think she's so beautiful, adorable, amazing, kind of innocent in a way, but still holds her own and is independent. You really get to see the character development and the character growth with this novel, and it's a pretty good adult romance. The next book is the complete opposite of an adult romance. It is Paperweight by Meg Haston. This is an eating disorder novel, so it deals with mental health, but honestly, I think this is the best mental health book I've ever read in my entire life. It deals with eating disorder so well. It's such a good and correct portrayal, and basically it follows a girl named Stevie, and she feels like she is trapped in her life, in her body, and her father sees this and puts her into a treatment facility. But she's like, whatever, I'll just go with it, because in 27 days, it is her brother's death anniversary, and she feels like she wants to die on that day too. And she also feels like her brother's death is her fault. And so it kind of, talking with her therapist, you kind of see glimpses into her, past when her brother was alive, and kind of like a person back home figure, not like a person back home now, she's waiting, not a romance. I don't know how to explain it, but a person back home that kind of deals with her brother's death and her feelings and everything like that. And it is such a good novel of self-growth and self-discovery, and just, it's so good. It's so good. I recommended this actually to my middle school bully, and he loved it. The prose in this novel, just how Stevie speaks, is so poetic, and you're just like, whoa. How is this novel even alive? So go read it if you think you're up for it. Definitely look at the trigger warnings before you do. The next book that I read, absolutely loved, and truly believe nobody reads it enough, is Punching the Air by Ibizuba and Yusuf Salaam. This book not only has amazing Black authors, but the characters in these novels are just beautiful, amazing. It follows a guy named Amal Shahid, and he has always been a poet and an artist, and he's been at a pretty diverse art school, but because of the biased system, boys just being boys turns out to be only true when those boys are white. And so just at 16 years old, Amal is convicted of a crime that he did not commit, and he's sent to prison, and you kind of see her perspective before it happens, and also while he's in prison. And I just when I was reading this book, I was blown away. Truly, Jacqueline Woodson, who is one of my favorite authors now, love her to death, she wrote, in this beautifully rendered book, we are reminded again of how brilliant and precarious our Black lives are, and how art can ultimately heal us. I just love that. I love it so much. This book, there's also, his mother's Muslim, I believe. She was wearing a hijab, so I don't know. I love it. I love the representation in this book. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing. Truly go read it. Oh, also it's told in verse, so just amazing. The next book that I want to recommend to you guys is My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick. This is a young adult romance novel, but it is so So good. I read this and I saw it more on BookTube when I was a lot younger, but nobody ever speaks about it now. It basically follows a girl named Samantha Reed, and her house is clean and orderly and planned by her local politician mother. But next door, the Garretts are very loud, messy, and irresistible. She finds this guy, likes him, she goes over to their house, even though her mother says that she is not allowed. She hates the next door neighbors. The mother like literally says that she's never allowed to interact with them, that they're just going downhill. But once she falls in love with the guy and like has this secret life next door, a plot twist with her mother and the father of her kind of happens, and she has to pick between, you know, her new life or her mother. And it is so freaking good. It blew my middle school mind, and although I say this that I read this in middle school, it just keeps living up to what I loved in middle school, and it's such an amazing book. The next book is a sci-fi novel. Sci-fi. Emily, that's your least favorite genre. I know. Trust me, I know. But it is Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. If you've heard of her name before, she was the person that wrote the Divergent series. I believe this is a duology. And basically, it follows a girl named Sierra, and she is the sister of a brutal tyrant who rules the Shotet people. He is evil and exploits her powers because just like Juliet and Shattermeat, if you've heard of that famous book and popular book, she has powers where if you touch her, it will cause you pain and you can die. And then it also follows, like, changes perspectives with Akos, who's the son of a farmer on another planet. And his brother, Akos' brother, gets controlled by Sierra's brother, the king now. And they get together. He doesn't like her, of course, and then he is the only one that can like heal, like make her feel good about her powers, because although she can hurt other people, her power also hurts her. This is very complicated. I know this sounds really complicated, but I promise it's not complicated when you actually read the book. It is really, really good. I haven't read Divergent, but I've read this book, which is really crazy because I don't like sci-fi, but I really enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4 to 5 stars. The one thing I will give you a trigger warning about is that whenever they kill somebody, they like you like mark yourself, like you carve something on, you carve the mark basically. But like it's very descriptive, and like when you realize where they're doing it, you're like, oh, maybe like if you're triggered by that, like, you know, carving something into your skin, that's a trigger in this book. But I don't think she meant it, but then it got a lot of hate, so I don't know. I also think there's some controversy around this. I don't really know, but it was a good book. I'm just recommending it to you because nobody really talks about it. Now the book that inspired this whole video all this time by the people that wrote the book 5 Feet Apart. I absolutely love this novel. I read it in December and it just blew my mind. It follows a guy named Kyle, and he has a girlfriend named Kimberly, and Kimberly drops a bomb on him and is like, hey, I want to break up. They've been dating since the 3rd grade. She does this on graduation night, and right after she says that, they get in a car accident and he wakes up with a brain injury and Kimberly dead. And he's just like, whoa, like I don't even have to, I can't speak to her about everything that just happened. So she goes through all the stages of grief, and he meets a girl named Marley, and she's also going through a loss of her own. They meet, they kind of heal each other, and it is so cute. There's a huge freaking plot twist in this book, like literally will blow your whole entire mind. Like you're just like, what? And it's not a thriller, but you still get that huge plot twist. If you like We Were Liars, you will absolutely love this book. I gave it a 4 to 5 stars. It's so amazing. It's so beautiful. It's so good. Read it because it's amazing. The next book I'm going to recommend is 99 Days by Katie Cottingo. This book is a little bit toxic. Okay, basically it follows a girl, and she was with a guy named Patrick, and then she breaks up with him, gets with his brother. I think she might have cheated on him with, no, I don't know. She breaks up with him, gets with his brother, and then she leaves because everybody's hating on her, like really hating on her bad. Comes back, she sees the guy the brother of her ex-boyfriend. Then she sees Patrick, and she's kind of in this triangle all over again. One thing I will say about this book, it is written so well. It is done so well. I love seeing her perspective, and I love seeing her side. You really get that feeling of women are always the bad guy. Like, I've been in a situation where you can get taken advantage of, but you're still the bad guy even if you're taken advantage of just because you're a woman. And she deals with that in this book. She kind of just deals with the everybody's hating on me, but they don't know the full story type of thing. But this book is so toxic. Like makes you mad type of toxic, and like that's why I'm recommending it to you, because if you're okay with feeling upset and frustrated and also understanding that the toxicity is the point of this book, then you will really enjoy it. I give it a 4 stars because I kind of couldn't handle the toxicity a little bit, but it's good. I think you guys will enjoy it, and I hope that you truly do enjoy it if you read it. Now, the last book that I'm going to recommend is a middle grade. I thought I'd, increase the genres a little bit, and it is Furthermore by Taha Mafi. This book, I feel like if you've ever heard of Taha Mafi, you've heard of the Shatter Me series, and you've heard of her contemporary novels, but this is her middle grade, and it is an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I did not like Alice in Wonderland, but I loved this book with my whole entire heart. Basically follows a girl named Alice, Alexis Queensmeadow, and she is devoid of magic. She lives in a world where it's all colorful and magical, and she doesn't have any magic, and she's devoid of color. If you can see the cover, she's the only white thing on it. And her father, who's the only one who really, really loves her, because her mother's like, and doesn't really like her, he goes missing, and she is just like, I don't know what to do. This guy comes to her and is like, I can help you find your father. He's in Furthermore. And she's like, what's Furthermore? And they go through Furthermore, and it's a whole nonsensical world that is amazing and beautiful and just pure perfection. Genuinely, like, if you didn't like Alice in Wonderland, I genuinely think that you should give this a try. Like, I think it's worth it. It's very nonsensical. I really enjoyed it. I read it with the audiobook as well as reading it. My friend Allie Mae read it without listening to the audiobook, and she had some trouble with pacing, but I also physically read the second book because it's a duology, and I liked it too. So I think it's amazing. I truly think it's one of her underrated novels that needs to be put on the map because it's amazing. Okay, guys, I've filmed for a really long time. I think I've stumbled through a billion gajillion words. So hopefully half of these novels made sense to you. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. Please read some of these books, and goodbye.